Good morning, Green Room. How you doing today? So markets starting off here a little quiet, not unexpected after yesterday's little bout of selling. Kind of got climactic there, and we got the bounce off of the lows. Now we'll see how far it goes. Different markets came back a little bit more. Qs came back. Facebook pretty resilient yesterday, surprisingly so, and Amazon moving up, but a lot of big, red, ugly bars out there. So the big to keep in mind is that the markets always mask the underlying carnage that's happening at the time. And it's kind of after it gets done with its initial destruction at a turning point internally, that's when it historically will let loose across the indices. Maybe Dow at the last point. And I'm not suggesting that there's some kind of huge market correction coming, but I think it's obvious to most that the market is at a point based on different measures of just how many bars up it's run, whether it's at resistance. If you're looking at the transports, a lower high that they broke the prior week's low and closed negatively. I've used the term, there's some cracks in the armor out there, which there are. Yet, buyers stepped up again yesterday off of the low bounce. And when a market is just starting to turn, I mean, that's typical. Should the market head lower with a little bit more power to the downside, those bounces from the low will become a bit anemic because traders will logically say, you know what, trend is obviously broken, and unless it really gets climactic intraday, they're just going to wait for the rallies to sell into. So we'll just see how this unfolds. It's what we do day to day, measuring the corrections or lack thereof. If prices can move up, are there failures? Meaning, what if today we were opening up and looking at the Russell chart here, prices were gapping above the high of this red bar? That would be something. After, a move like this, breaking down below this prior low, making a lower high and all that, and then a gap above here would be a bit of a shock. So we look at day-to-day price action as to what does this mean? What does it mean in relation to the prior trend? Was the trend violated? And just looking at the Russell here, the answer is no. So far, it's just a pretty mild, little sideways kind of corrective action here. That's a pretty big red bar. And now we'll see, does it actually follow through to the downside? Or does it retrace deeply into that bar? And that will tell us some good information as to, how does everyone feel? When I say everyone, meaning worldwide, everybody that's coming to the market with different views and attitudes about the markets, and who wins the battle today. Yesterday, looking at the Russell, we would say obviously sellers won the battle, first time in a while. As we look across other markets, obviously that's different. And when they all start moving together, well, then we have unison. And let's take a look at what's going on here across different markets. And George saying somebody likes oil. Well, let's take a look at it. Well, yeah, somebody likes it today. They didn't like it a couple of days ago. They didn't like it a few days over here. And now it's in a trading range, but it's acting bullishly. I mean, look at the price action over here. Right? This is that big red day. That's what we call a red bar ignored, or a 180 reversal. And that's bullish price action when it's got climactic. So it isn't a great sell setup after prices get extended like this to the downside. But that doesn't mean it couldn't have had a down day. Maybe it would have retested or made a higher low. It didn't do that. It immediately reversed that weekly red bar. And now it's consolidating sideways after doing that. So pretty bullish price action. And the switching things here, the energy sector last week dipped down. That was last Thursday. It dipped down and broke under these lows and reversed right back up again. And now we've got a bottoming tail bar yesterday. So prices dipped down on that market selling, but buyers stepped up again. So combine the price action in crude oil, the price action in some of these energy ETFs, and that is suggestive that they can move up. And obviously they're still in a downtrend here on the weekly, but this bullish price action is suggestive that it's going to be able to turn higher. So it's a sector that we actually posted a buy in this particular ETF. And I think another one, Dan could mention another one in the energy sector. Gold, no one's loving it now. It started this pullback a couple of weeks ago, and it kind of accelerated once it broke through this major support level here. So now that it's getting down to the next major support level, and it's an area, it's beginning to stabilize. So it's violated the trend by breaking through major support, come down to the next level. We'll see if it stabilizes here. The weekly is still in an uptrend, so it is a situation where buyers could step up and repair the damage here on the daily time frame, since the weekly is still in an uptrend. And you can see the hourly is in a downtrend. And this is how we use multiple time frame analysis to determine probable turning points. For example, bullish here, neutral here, bearish but improving here. So because this is in an area of major support, we look for stabilization on the hourly, or it could be a time frame of your choice. Right? No right or wrong to it. I like the hourly. And see this sideways price action. Can this now break above major resistance and start a turn? And so using smaller time frames with the alignment or analysis of higher time frames can give you an entry point in a smaller time frame where you're looking to get in on a turning point over here. And bonds down here a little bit, but trading inside a range. So interest rates are moving up. They're inverse here. And was it TBT? Interest rates broke out here. That looks like it can go higher. Bonds lower. So we're looking for this to continue to move up. S&P futures. Right, there's that reversal day yesterday. Now buyers stepped up enough to close it above the prior day's low, and so they get a point for that, but still a pretty negative bar, maybe because of the gap up, China this, China that. Now there's more, whatever they said, markets better today because of China. Who knows? Or China's economy is slowing down. Something about they're lowering prices on things. So big economy there slowing down. Is that a positive? Who knows in this market anymore? The way the news comes out. But weekly chart up at resistance. We got a bottoming tail bar, but after a bunch of weeks moving higher into resistance, we read that as a stall in momentum. And this week, what I want to see, and what I'm interested to see, which we do every week, where does it close? But more importantly, does it close below a prior week's low, which it hasn't done now in 9 weeks, and this would be number 10. And going back a few decades, 10 was the most it's ever been. So we'll see if it makes a higher low. Actually, it's broken through the low here, but we have to really look at the S&Ps because it even broke below the low there. I thought maybe it didn't on the futures because it trades 24 hours. But that did break below the prior low, but we'll see if we get a closing low or a bottoming tail at the end of the week. And if we do, well, then we're going to have, assuming yesterday is the low of the week, and this is a sideways corrective price action that's going on here, we can only look at that as bullish until something bearish happens. So corrections do happen sideways through time, and it could have a bar like this where it was a nasty day that's got a tail on it and it just goes sideways, and that sets the low. So if we were to get 2 or 3 bars to the right here and that becomes a swing, well, incredible as that may seem, and it does to me, that this market wouldn't correct. We've covered internals. I have to recognize that as bullish price action, suggesting it could go even higher. NASDAQ futures actually did form a bottoming tail bar. Hats off to Alex, who suggested that in the middle of the day. And I said, I don't think so. He was right. Bottoming tail bar. Called it close to the low there. Nice call. We'll see where this goes today. Inside day, it could be, inside day could be what a day like yesterday results in, because it's a wild kind of a day, wide range above the high, below the low, dip down there, neutral kind of close there. So an inside day would be probable. So we'll see where it goes here. Momentum continues to slow. So far, we've still got a lot of days to go in this weekly chart. But look at the candle bodies on the way up here, how the ranges are narrowing and the bodies are getting slower. So buyers are beginning to become a bit more hesitant on this move higher. And that's normal after this many weeks moving up from a V bottom into an area of resistance. And now we'll just see whether this market can correct sideways through time for a bit and jiggle around here, or whether it's going to pull back. Dow, a little bit more bearish action there. Look at that weekly chart. Just reiterate that that's not done, but look at the break to the downside and now the retest into minor resistance where sellers are stepping up. So, and this is why we look at a bunch of different markets to say, are they all in alignment telling me the same thing? Or is one acting more bearishly or one acting very bullishly? And we kind of take a consensus view of what's happening between these different markets to create a bias for ourselves. So what's the bias today? A little bit more bearish because of what happened yesterday, of course, but toward the neutral side as well, because it wasn't decisively bearish as we look at different markets. This, the Dow, we would say yes. However, with the NASDAQ futures, we really couldn't say that. So, looking across these different markets, we've got different pictures. The Russell, a bit more bearish. Looking at the Qs, right? Not the futures. Bottoming tail bar, close below the open. Spiders, right? Negative, but, bigger range where it dipped down. So if we look, at the past in this move up, we don't see bars that dip below multiple days ranges and below a swing low there, even though it recovered. So definitely a change in the attitude here of traders, and we'll see how it unfolds by the end of the week. Transports, the weaker, and sometimes that's a bearish sign, good that they lead, where the weakness starts there first. So that's about it. Markets, and we'll leave it over to Dan. I'll just throw Facebook up there for a second to show the resilience that it had. That was a very nice day in the midst of pretty much across the board selling for at least the morning part of the day. Well, yours, Mr. Gibby.
All righty, good morning. Yeah, I looked at all our opens in the market and said the same thing. Wow, what a boring open here, which is expected. You mentioned diamonds the weakest. We had a call spread posted for that under last week's low, but we didn't get the desired credit. But I still like that one the best, as you do too. We're in spider call spread though, that expires this Friday. We're just going to manage it. J&J, I didn't trigger with the weak market and the gap up. We'll still keep an eye on that. Netflix, we added a call spread yesterday for Friday. Tesla, we have a half lot left for a call spread. Looks fine. BRC, we're long stock and it's just, done nothing. So it's kind of dead money. Apple covered call expires this Friday, the 175. So we just wanted to stay above 175. And we've made our max gain. ACB long stock. GTBIF. No, we're not in this one. I'm watching it though. We're in Tagatif. Let me delete it. Tagatif for long stock. Insight, I tightened the stop and we trail stopped out yesterday at a nice profit. LRCX call spread. We want that clock just to keep ticking to Friday expiration. Newell short stock with a trail stop. Tilray put spread. NBLX, a little oil stock we picked up yesterday. Looks good. Triple V did not hit. It's still valid though, short under last week's low. Hain triggered. Long. MRO triggered long. CVX triggered put spread. A couple others I'm just watching here. Run, little solar stock to all-time highs. Aflac was on my list, but did not close strong. QNST, we shorted the stock yesterday. PII was bullish in a fairly weak market. We're going to keep an eye on that. AWI, we're going to watch. Looks going sideways, looks strong. ENB, we mentioned as a day trade short, and I'm going to keep an eye on it as another short today. Engine, continuation short. That's ugly, all time frames. I see one print though, up $1.50. It's light volume, so I don't know if that's real. GDOT, continuation short. Alex is a hog. Alex was looking to buy hog yesterday. I like it actually better today if it takes out today's high, because then red bar ignored. Gulf Delta, continuation short. Zawo, we're short stock. And I think I got them all. Those are all the opens and a couple watches just on that screen over there. Here's a different screen now with gappers. All right, up $1.47 at 341. Gap's too big, looks like a penny stock garbage, no interest. Delta gap, so that's a bullish 5-minute. Let me change it back to 15. Kind of light volume, gapping up to $50. Nothing to do there. Hey, Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy's maybe just typing us a note, Greg. Send there's a couple of comments on YouTube and questions. All right. But Jimmy, you know, you can put your drop down to all panelists and attendees. GME, we tried shorting this breakdown here. Snapped right back. So that's demand right there. Now it's gapping up to $12. I'll keep an eye on that. Nice close yesterday, gapping up 85 cents. It trades like a little penny stock, but look at the weekly. This could be a long-term bottom. Beautiful close. We'll watch that on a pullback. ADMS getting whacked here, so that's probably a bio is my guess. Gapping down to this breakout area. That was a beautiful W bottom. On the weekly, higher low, that's a textbook W. That's beautiful. Time symmetry and angle. G-Sky up $1, 12.40. Maybe 30-minute high. Whiskey Bravo finally has earnings. 68.74, gapping down here. So it's actually a bear island reversal, but not a good one. We'll just watch it. Bravo Lima, gapping down here to 48. I'm not seeing any tier 1 setups here yet. Hertz gapping down 1850. Nothing there. Oh, this came from a subscriber yesterday. Emailed me and saying, hey, it's a bio, but it looks like a bullish 1, 2, 3 on the daily and weekly if it were to close here. And I said, you're right, looks great. The puts are spready, but for 10 days to expiration, the 135 is way the heck down here. We might be able to get $1 for. So that's a watch. WBA cracked yesterday. Yeah, these are my earnings stocks. So that's only 20 cents on earnings. Oh, Target here I like. I put that in this middle window here. Gapping up to 76.70, but look at the price weight on the weekly. So I have it here in a window. I like that one if it sets up. LL, I got nothing. KSS, I was gonna say it was up 3 and change earlier. And so that, that's a bearish reversal of pre-market strength. Sienna 45.50. Wow. Wow. Hey, Greg. Do you remember we were trading this in the 1998, 99? The crash to March 2000. Look at this thing.
I remember 2000. I had it in the original TPM2 manual showing the whippy sideways action in 2000. It was at $160 back then.
I 100% remember that chart. We said you had it in a chart of trend quality, whippy versus controlled, and this one got whippy. But there's no way to enter now here with extended all time frames. But this, I always like looking at it to say, okay, where could we have gotten on board? And I like this one. This was a little breakdown failure. Retest. It made slightly a new low and engulfing, and then this next bar sliced through this resistance. That was your entry right over that bar on 211. Stop under the prior bar. Why? Nothing going on there. VNet. Nothing going on. It was a bullish gap. Now it's retracing, so we have to wait. CTERP, that's a big gap. Pushing $40, nothing to do. CRM, 160. It's negating the bearish gap here pre-market. Could give us a day trade. I don't like it as a swing with that ugly red bar. ADUS, garbage. Pen, we were looking at this for a no-brainer call spread, but there were no juice. Well, if we get a 1, 2, 3, then we'll do a swing short tomorrow. Workday. I heard Kramer here on the box today saying, "Oh, Workday sold off because of the computer boxes." I'm like, whatever. There was earnings on Friday. Cron, nothing. Yeti, IPO that I've been watching for a couple weeks. All right, I think I'm done with 1 minute to go. Perfect timing. These pot stocks are still volatile. Let's see, Amazon. We closed rather, our short put spread into strength yesterday. Netflix, we have a call spread. Apple, we've been through these. Intel. Nice run, wow. Microsoft. All right, I'm done. You all have anything you want to look at? Bullet here, I'll tell you, John. Let me find it here. Right here, John. BGNE. Look at that beautiful daily, weekly, 1, 2, 3. Missed it on my small phone.